Donald Trump just wrapped up a disastrous press conference in the White House as all world nations have essentially rejected Donald Trump's request to help the United States secure the Strait of Hormuz in his disastrous war against Iran. Donald Trump held this press conference where he said, you know what? We don't need anybody at all. We're the strongest nation ever. The only reason why I demanded help from other nations to secure the Strait of Hormuz is I was testing them, and they failed my test. Watch what Donald Trump said during this disastrous press conference in the White House moments ago. Let's play it.
We don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them. But it's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally. And we spend a lot of money on, NATO and all of these things to protect you. I mean, we're protecting them. We're working with them on Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away, separated by a vast ocean. We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Biden got taken to the cleaners. But we worked with them in Ukraine. We don't need to work with them in Ukraine. And then they tell us that we have a mine ship around, and they don't want to do it. I think it's terrible. No, I would.
So then a reporter asked Donald Trump if he could even describe what he meant when he said that there were all of these nations that agreed to form a coalition to secure the Strait of Hormuz, which he said over the weekend. What do you mean by that, Donald? What were they planning on doing? Who are these countries? And Donald Trump's like, I can't tell you. I'm not going to say it. That is my secret. Why? Because Donald Trump is just making all of this up. He's a fraud. He's a con man. He's a liar. And this is making the United States look utterly pathetic right now. Here, play this clip.
Numerous countries have told me they are on their way. Can you give us a hint what they are, what that entails, how soon they might be there?
You mean who are the countries?
Yes, sir.
I'd rather not say yet, but we'll be announcing Marco Rubio and the various people that are doing that will be announcing. And I have to tell you, we have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. They've already started to get there. It takes a little while to get there. It's like, in some cases, you have to travel an ocean. So it doesn't go that fast, but it'll go fast. And we have some that are fairly local that are doing it.
Next, a reporter asked Donald Trump that, what do you mean when you said Iran wants to make a deal? What are they saying to you? What kind of deal? And Donald Trump's like, oh, they're reaching out to us all the time. They want to make a deal so badly. But what you have to realize is they're all about disinformation. I'll play this clip for you.
Very much. So go ahead, please.
Mr. President. Mr. President, you've said that Iran does want to make a deal. Now, into the third week of this bombing campaign, what would that deal look like? What are the asks that you're making of the government?
They want to make a deal. They're talking to our people. I don't know if they say that to you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Don't forget, they are a country that for years, I didn't know this until recently, they're a country based on disinformation. And now they're using disinformation plus AI. And that's a terrible situation. That's a terrible situation.
Now, we know that Iran does not want to make a deal with Donald Trump. They very publicly, through their foreign minister, said he's delusional. We do not want to make a deal. There are no ceasefire negotiations taking place. We also know that Donald Trump's envoy to everything, Steve Witkoff, he's been trying to text message the foreign minister of Iran, Araghchi, who is not returning any of the text messages. He looks utterly desperate and weak. Next, Peter Doocy of State Regime Media, which calls itself Fox, says to Donald Trump, well, at this press conference, you've claimed that the U.S. has destroyed all of the mines and all of the mine-laying ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So if that's the case, why can't the cargo and fueling ships in the Strait of Hormuz leave. And Donald Trump goes, it takes two to tango. Ask Pepe. Pepe has a ship. Pepe doesn't want to leave the Strait of Hormuz. It's Pepe's fault. Here, play this clip.
I will say this, nobody's seen him, which is unusual.
Something else. Now that you've announced that the U.S. has destroyed all of Iran's mine-laying ships, why can't the U.S. just immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we could, but it takes two to tango. We have to get people to take their $1 billion ship and drive it up. If when Pepe has his big sugar ships coming around and they cost $1 billion, and we say, I think it's okay now, Pepe, take your ship, drive it through the Strait of Hormuz. He may say, let me wait a little while, because it takes ship owners, and these ships are very expensive. They could cost up to $2 billion.
Next, a reporter asks Donald Trump, have your advisors told you anything in terms of how long we can expect gas prices to be as high as they are right now? And somehow Donald Trump responds by saying, I don't need advisors. And you know what? The Prime Minister of UK, Keir Starmer, he tells me that he listens to his advisors. And I say, why do you need advisors at all? You're the Prime Minister. Here, play this clip.
Yeah.
Have your advisors told you anything in terms of how long we can expect gas prices as high as they are right now?
I don't need advisors to tell me that. I know what it is. The Prime Minister of UK, United Kingdom, yesterday told me, I'm meeting with my team to make a determination. I said, you don't need to meet it with the team. You're the Prime Minister. You can make your own. Why do you have to meet with your team to find out whether or not you're going to send some minesweepers to us or to send some boats? I said, you don't have to meet with your team. It's the same thing here. I can tell you that when this is over, oil prices are going to go down very, very rapidly. So is inflation. So is everything else.
Then Donald Trump says that it's a very unfair war, because he goes, it's unfair. We won, but they keep on using drones and they control the Strait of Hormuz. So it's an unfair war. Again, he uses the language war because, yes, this is a war. But then he whines that it's unfair. What are you talking about? You launched an unlawful war without constitutional authorization, and now you're saying it's unfair? You a baby? Here, play this clip.
You may have no mindset. We hit every one of their mine droppers. They call it the mine layers, right? The ships. They're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone. But it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard. And today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that.
Then Donald Trump says that a major weakness of NATO is that they refuse to help the United States. Then he goes, but we don't need their help anyway. But they're refusing to help and we need their help, but we don't want their help anyway. Watch what he says here. Play this clip.
And I've always felt that was a weakness of NATO. We were going to protect them, but I always said when in need, they won't protect us. Now, this is in need. Need would be one of the big boys. But I will say that we built the greatest military in the world and we protect people. And if we need their mine boats, or if we need anything, any piece of apparatus that they may have because of a situation that they have, they should be jumping to help us, because we've helped them for years stay out of wars. Yeah, please.
Thank you.
But then he says, I'm strongly encouraging other nations. Get involved with us. Get involved quickly and get involved with great enthusiasm. We need you. I mean, we don't need you. We don't want you. We're testing you. Actually join us with great enthusiasm. This is a madman. And other countries are watching this and they're like, we ain't getting involved with this. Are you kidding me? This guy's got no plan. He looks utterly pathetic. And what's actually happening, if you want to know the truth and the facts, Other nations are engaged in bilateral negotiations with Iran, trying to secure one-off deals, country X and Iran, the way India is doing right now. That's what United States weakness looks like under Donald Trump, who's bankrupted lots of companies in his life, and he's doing it right now with the United States. Here, play this clip.
Well, under that land, we strongly encourage the other nations to get involved with us and get involved quickly and with great enthusiasm. I have that from a number of them, and I'd like to say their names, but frankly, I don't know if they would want me to or not, because maybe they don't want to be targeted. But I say, wouldn't matter if you're targeted or not.
But Trump wants you to know that even though he's not able to secure the Strait of Hormuz, he predicted bin Laden. He knew about bin Laden before. He goes, I predicted bin Laden. I predicted 9/11. Here, play this clip.
Predicted all of it. I predicted Osama bin Laden would knock out the World Trade Center. I made that prediction a year before he did it. I said, you better get him. He's a bad guy. I watched him be interviewed one time, and I said, that's a bad guy. You better get him. 1 year before, exactly. I wrote it in a book. You can even check about a year before the World Trade Center then came down. President Clinton actually had a shot at him, and he didn't take it. Unfortunately, I'm not blaming him for that, but he didn't take it.
Then Donald Trump, who's demonstrating himself to be a paper tiger. It's always projection and confession with these MAGA goons. He goes, the paper tiger is Iran. Okay, well, if they're a paper tiger, they can close off the global oil flows with bombs. Doesn't sound like a paper tiger, because right now the Strait of Hormuz is closed and you are unable to do naval escorts like you said you were going to do weeks ago. Play this clip.
Matter if you're targeted or not, because this is a paper tiger that we're dealing with now. It wasn't a paper tiger 2 weeks ago. It's a paper tiger now.
Then Donald Trump on oil in the Middle East says, we didn't need them before we started. Dig we must. Dig we must is the Trump policy. Dig me wust me dig. Listen, you're like, Ben, what the hell are you talking about? Listen to what he says. Here, play this clip.
You mentioned the significant amount of oil that China derives from the Middle East. What is the status of your conversation with President Xi in terms of getting China to cooperate, in terms of making the Strait of Hormuz safe for those oil tankers?
Yeah, so China is a great example. They get 91% of their oil from the Hormuz Straits, which we protected for years. And it always bothered me that we have these countries. Japan gets 95% of it's from the Straits, the Hormuz Straits. And it always bothered me that we're protecting and we don't need them. We didn't need them before we started dig we must. Dig me must. That's the Trump policy of lots of oil.
And then Donald Trump starts talking about closing down the Kennedy Center. We need marble, beautiful marble right now. Here, play this clip.
And we figured it out over the year, and you have to close it, putting new marbles in, beautiful, beautiful marbles. When you do marbles, you can't have people walking over the marble every night as it's drying and setting and going to a play. So we thought the best way, what I know best in the world is construction. The best way to do it is close it, do it properly, and reopen it, have a grand reopening. And when it's finished, it's going to be far better than it was when it was originally built.
Then he goes from talking about beautiful marble to saying how the Ayatollah would sit in a throne, but it wasn't as nice as the thrones that they have in England. What? Play this clip.
Yeah, please, Peter.
Thanks, President Trump. What are your advisors telling you about the Ayatollah's son, the new supreme leader? What are they telling you about him?
Well, it's not only them, it's you people. A lot of people are saying that he's badly disfigured. They're saying that he lost his leg, the one leg, and he's, been hurt very badly. Other people are saying he's dead. Nobody's saying he's 100% healthy. And he hasn't spoken, because the Ayatollah would sit and he'd spew hate from a form of a throne. Not as nice as a throne. I like the English throne much better. But it was a fancy chair. But he'd spew hate from his chair. But you'd see him a lot, right? This one, we haven't seen at all. So that could be for a lot of different reasons. We don't know, Peter, if he's dead or not.
And now that you've announced,
I will say this, nobody's seen him, which is unusual.
Something else. Now,
And then he talks about UFC fights outside of the White House. Let's play it.
We have at the front of the White House on June 14th, you probably read, UFC is going to be here. Dana White, the great Dana White, he's building literally a stadium, a 5,000 seat arena right outside the front door of the White House. And they're going to have about 100,000 people in the park right across the street, where he's building, I believe, 8 massive screens for people to watch free, all free.
He gets asked a very serious question. Is the United States supporting the Israeli invasion of Lebanon? And then Donald Trump's like, I was with a person who lives in Lebanon and they're very wealthy. And I said, why do you live in Lebanon? Why would you live in a country like that? The same way I ask, why do people live in Ukraine? Like, if you're Ukrainian, why would you even want to live there? If you're being invaded, don't you want to move someplace else? I mean, this guy is a moron. This guy is dumb. And I just can't, he's a fraud and he's a sexual predator. I just can't believe this maniac is leading the United States right now. He's not leading. He's driving us into the ground. Here, play this clip.
Israel is expected to expand its ground offensive in southern Lebanon to go after Hezbollah. Have you discussed that with Israeli leaders?
Yeah.
And does the United States support a potential Israeli invasion of Lebanon?
Yeah, no, I did. And I know look, Hezbollah is a problem. It's been a problem for a long time, not just now. And it's a certain area, because I was with the other night a person whose parents live in Lebanon. This is a very substantial person, wealthy person, whose parents live in Lebanon. I said, really? How do you live in Lebanon? Your parents are living? Oh, yeah, they live there. And over the years, they've gotten used to the fact that it's being bombed. But they explained to me that it's really a different section of Lebanon. It's the section where Hezbollah is. And they get used to it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, people live in Ukraine. You would think they wouldn't live in Ukraine, but they live in Ukraine. I don't know that I'd do that, but they live in Ukraine. They live in Lebanon. Hezbollah is a big problem, and they're rapidly being eliminated. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
And then he talks about golden curtains. Let's play it.
It was, right outside. In fact, if you look behind me, you see the nice gold curtains? If you want to look into a nice foundation and you want to see a lot of work, very deep, very, very deep for specific reasons, we have a magnificent ballroom being built, because this is the biggest room.
And then he goes, our powerful military campaign right now has completely obliterated the Iranian regime. They're after all this begging all these other nations for help, and no one wants to help, and going through whatever this pathological stew of being a freaking maniac right here. Malignant narcissism combined with, in my opinion, like dementia, all wrapped up in a whatever the hell this is. He goes, we've obliterated Iran. It's over. We won. Here, play this clip.
Patriots at this table, our powerful military campaign to end the threats posed by the Iranian regime continued in full force over the past few days. They have been literally obliterated. The Air Force is gone. The Navy is gone. Many, many ships have been sunk. They're warfighting ships, but I guess they didn't know how to use them. And anti-aircraft is decimated. Their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. Other than that, they're doing quite well.
And then it concludes by Donald Trump revealing confidential medical records of a Republican Congress member, Neil Dunn. And Donald Trump's like, tell him, MAGA Mike. Mike, tell him what was going to happen. He was going to die in a few months. And I saved his life. MAGA Mike, tell him. And then even Mike Johnson's like, well, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay. This is what Donald Trump is doing. Maniac, just a complete maniac. We need grown-ups. We need adults. Like, can we start with that? Even a child would do significantly better than this, way better than this. Here, watch what he says. Let's play it.
We had one man who was very ill. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I won't mention his name. Should I? Do other people know his name? Do you want to mention it? He'll be proud. Go ahead. Tell him the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Congressman Neil Dunn of Florida had some real health challenges, and it was very serious, and had a pretty grim diagnosis. And I mentioned it to the president, and I said, Congressman Dunn is a real champion and a patriot because he's still coming to work. And if others got this diagnosis, they would be apt to go home and retire. And
what was the
family.
diagnosis?
It was, I think it was a terminal diagnosis.
He would be dead by June.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think about all of this. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thank you all so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.